So today I'm going to walk you through step by step a complete guide of how to sell your first item on eBay. Let's jump in. So to start with, we're just going to head over to ebay.com. I'll also put a link in the description so you can just click on there and head right over to there. And it's going to bring you to a page like this. And we're going to start at the very beginning. I'm going to set up a brand new account to walk you through the entire process. So on this screen, up above the eBay name, you'll see a button here for register. If you do already have an account, you could click to the sign in spot there, but we're going to go to register. And next it's going to verify. If you are human, click this button here. And of course, it's going to ask you to do some verifications here. Click the sandwiches, and there we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a personal account. So it's going to ask you for your name, last name, an email, and password, and then just click on create personal account. It's really that simple. And once you've had your account created, it'll return you to this home page, but now you'll see up here, it'll say hi, whatever your name is, all right? Just a couple of account settings things we're going to change here before we sell our first item is we're going to go up to the account settings, which if you hover over your name, you'll see a little box that'll drop down. We're just going to go to account settings. It's going to ask you to confirm your address here. And then once you click continue, it'll take you to your My eBay page where you can change a few settings in here. So first we're going to go to the payment information. We're going to go to payments. And this will need to be set up so that you can receive money from whoever buys your items that you're selling. And then you just need to add your card or account information so that whenever someone buys your item, the money has some place to go to. The other option, if you have a Venmo or PayPal account, you can link that as well, which is the method that I chose. And then once you have that done, you just click on the eBay sign there and it'll take you back to the main page. Okay, and now we're ready to sell our first item. So first and foremost is choosing what item that you want to sell. Now, as a beginner, eBay will limit you to only being able to sell 10 items per month or a total value of $500. But once you sell a few items, they'll increase that. It's just a matter of just a way of getting you started. But for now, we're just going to start with one. And there's tons of categories that you can pick from. Some of the most popular ones like DVDs and video games, clothing, shoes, books is a good item, hats, accessories, all those sorts of things and things that you have laying around the house. And also action figures, comic books, collectibles, those sorts of things, which is what I'm going to start with is just this Batman action figure that I have laying around the house. And that's really the key, finding things that you already have that you can already use to sell and pick up some extra cash that way. Okay. On your first item, I would avoid anything large or heavy that's going to be difficult to ship. I think things that are small, that can fit in a shipping box very easily is the way to go just to get started. And once you get more comfortable with it, increasing from there. So we're just going to start with this Batman action figure. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with going to the sell button up here, which is right on the top bar. You click on that. You're going to click on, and a big box here will pop up, and you just want to click on list an item. And then it's going to ask you, what are you selling? So this is a Batman action figure. And you see that they have some topics that pop up for you. So in this stage, it's really just sort of trying to categorize your items. So it'll give you suggestions of the details that you want to add in this. This isn't necessarily the title that you'll use. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But this is sort of just helping you detail and narrow down what the item is. And so it's always important to have the item right there with you so you can reference it. So I see there, none of these apply, but it is a Mattel. So we'll add Mattel in there. You can see that's coming up. And then it is 2000, some years. Let me see. This is a 2008. And then there you go. And so we'll just do that. And then you click search. And what this is doing is it's looking through eBay for other items similar to your item. And so if you find a match, it helps to kind of pull some of that information from existing listings so that you don't have to enter all that in manually. So you can scroll down through here and see if anything matches what you're selling. And that's it right there. Now, if you do find a match, great, that'll help you out. If not, you can always click down here to continue without a match, and you just enter the information individually, which is fine. So we're just going to click on this. And then what you want to do is you want to select which one applies. So new or used. Now mine is new because it's still in the box, although there is a little bit of wear on it. So we're going to go continue to listing. And then here's where you want to add the title. Now you can see it gives you this model number, which it pulled from the other one, which I see down here in the corner, which is key. So that helps you out. And then, so I usually use what their suggestion is here, but then I'll add some additional information. Never been opened, sealed. Your title can be up to 80 characters, and they suggest using as many of those characters as possible in that title to have as much information in there as possible. And once that is set, then you want to go down to your item specifics, just to make sure that everything is correct, especially if you pull the information from another listing. You want to make sure that these are correct. So new Batman. So we're just kind of looking through here. So San Diego, I did not get this at San Diego Comic-Con. So we're just going to click on that. And when you click on any one of those, it'll take you to this screen so that you can now adjust those. So comic book hero, plastic. We do have the model number. Let me add that. And if any of these don't apply, you could just remove them altogether. So it was not signed by Christian Bale. Let's remove that. Then you just want to go through all those details, make sure that they're all accurate, or any additional information that you want to add. And this is the key about eBay, is really to be as honest and truthful as possible. It doesn't do you any good to bend the truth or lie a little bit or exaggerate, because people are going to end up buying your item. And if they're disappointed, it just hurts you in the long run. So I find it's better to be totally honest and overshare up front so that you can remove any issues to come than the other way around. And now, next thing you want to do is you want to upload some photos. The key with photos is you can have up to 24 photos. So I always say take as much as you can, photographing it from multiple angles, details, close-ups, far aways, holding in your hand to get size, or having a ruler or some other point of reference for the size. All of that just really helps it out. If there's any details on it that need to be showcased, like I have a corner here that's a little bent, I want to show a close-up of that. And then also taking the photo with a white or a blank background, well lit, so that everybody can get the detail of it and it's not distracted with a bunch of other things in the photo. Making sure that the product that you're selling is the only thing in the photo, so people aren't confused about like, oh, does that cat also come with that, or that book that's sitting there also come with it? But being very clear about only photographing this, plain background, and taking as many photos from as many angles as possible. So I already took some photos here, so we're just going to grab these and drag them over. And then you select one of those photos as your main photo. So I'm just going to choose this sort of main front view of it as my main photo. And then you can see I have some detail photos, some side views. I even have one with my hand so that people can see the size of it, and just like that. So the main photo is what will come up as people do a search, and this is what they see. When they click on it, then they'll have access to see these other photos. So, adding as many as you want, people can look through them as they need to. And then we want to go down to the description. And now you can even use AI to help draft a description. So we're going to do that. We're going to use AI description. And you can see it writes up exactly what's in there. There's a bit of the features. And that looks pretty good. I'm just going to add some personal information here. And so I took what the AI created and just added some additional information in there of my personal experience with the product. Okay. All right. Now pricing, you really have two different options. We have the auction and we have the buy it now. Buy it now is very popular. You can turn that on so that people can just see the item like a lot of other listings. They don't bid on it. You set a price, they purchase that, and it's a done deal. So that's a great option when I want this much for this product and that's what it's going to be, and it usually sells a lot quicker. The other option is the auction, which is more of the traditional sort of eBay method, where you set a starting bid and then people have a certain amount of time that they can bid on that. And you can actually turn both of them on so that people have their choice of how they want to do. I always recommend starting the bidding at 99 cents. It's an easy, nice round number, and it kind of gets the bidding started, even if it's a large number. And then you can also schedule a time for it to start. So let's say I want this to start tomorrow at, let's just start it first thing in the morning. Let's go 8 a.m. Then you set your auction duration. Let's say we want to do 7 days, which is, again, usually that's kind of typical. And then You can also turn on the buy it now, which we'll leave that on. And they give a suggested price based on what the items have sold for in the past. You can also turn on this little graph so you can kind of see, which shows you the items that were sold in the last 90 days that are similar to your listing. So we see we got some 23, 24, 25, and this can kind of help gauge what that price should be. And sometimes you'll see the exact items you have or just similar ones. And I'm seeing we got some items in that $20 range. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bump this up to $25. And this is totally at your discretion. You decide how much you want to sell this for, and you could always change that. Maybe you start out high, and if it doesn't sell, you could always change that later. Okay. Next, we're going to come down here to the delivery method. And again, here's your options. You can do shipping or pickup. You can do shipping only or pickup only. I typically do shipping only so that I don't have to deal with meeting up with people or trying to schedule a time to do that. I think shipping is just as easy. They do automatically, again, if it's an item that's already been listed, they know the size and weight of that. So you could select that. And then you see down here, you could select different shipping services. The United Postal Service is good enough for me. And then you decide who pays, if you want the buyer to pay or you as the seller for you to pay. Again, that's at your discretion, and typically people are comfortable paying for the shipping. To do that, list what that's going to be. You can select if you want it to ship internationally. I'm going to not do that for this item because, again, that just creates a little bit more of a challenge sometimes. And then you'll see the delivery details here. We're just going to click on this. And you've got a couple of options here. Is you can select the handling time. And what this is from the time that the payment is received to when you are shipping that out in the mail. And again, this is where the key is just to be honest with it. You would rather tell people ahead of time, hey, it's going to take me 1, 2, 3 days to get to that versus over-promising them and under-delivering. If you could do same business day, that would be great. And that's always recommended. But again, just being honest with that. I usually say 1 business day, just so that gives me a full 24 hours to be able to do that. Usually I can get it done in less time, but I like to kind of under-promise and over-deliver, as it were. Okay. And then you can also offer returns. And again, that's totally up to you if you want to accept returns or if you want the sales to be final. So that's totally up to you how you want to handle that. Okay, click on done. And again, all of this information is available to the buyer so they can make the decision if that is something they want to purchase or not. Then you have a couple other options here that if these apply to you, you could do that. You could promote your listing, meaning that you put some money there to have that listed higher. I'm going to leave that off. Listing preferences saying that eBay is handling all of the payments. I would leave that alone. And then if you are running this for a charity, meaning you're selling items to raise money for a certain charity, you could turn that on. In my case, this is just for me. And so there you go. Everything is set and ready to go. You can click on preview it. So you can see exactly what this is going to look like, which shows you the pictures. You can scroll through what those pictures are going to look like. This is what that listing will look like. It's got your information, it has the bids. You can see everything in there, just how that's going to look. So you get that idea, close that out. And when you're ready to go, you just click list it. And it's going to ask you for your password to confirm. And then hang tight. And your listing is set up. And you see it is ready to go. My listing will go live on my scheduled date here. Now that your item is listed, a couple of key things to remember is to just make sure that you're staying on top of that. Watch your notifications that you'll get in your email, or you can go into your view your listing here and you can see your notifications that'll come up here with the little bell icon. And then what you can do is you can go up to My eBay and you go to Summary. And this is kind of the activity of your account. And if you scroll down here, you can go to Selling and you go to Overview and you can see all your items here. You can see this is the item that I have scheduled. You can see the ones that are active. You have a place where you can see all your messages that are coming in, which again, just trying to respond to those as quickly as possible so that if anybody has any questions, they can get an answer. And so this is sort of where you'll go to see all the activity that's going on if there's any items that Once people have purchased or are bidding on those will show up here. So this is sort of your dashboard where you can see all the activity that's going on in your item. So keep an eye on that and you're up and running on eBay. I hope you found this video helpful and I'll see you in the next one.